What's happening, everybody? The day is finally here. Tekken 7's Season 2 is underway, and it brings with it the return of Lei Wulong. So here we are to talk about how to play this new character. New to a lot of you, but not to everyone else. If you know how to play Lei, let's say that most of it is the same. Took away a couple of moves, added some new things in, switched stuff around, you know the deal. So I want to go through it the way I normally do in terms of basic moves, combos, etc. It's just Lei has so many stances. I kind of want to group those together and make sure they get the proper attention. One thing throughout the whole video that I don't want to talk a lot about is frame data. I'll mention it here and there just in terms of being safe or not, but Lei's not really much of a frame data character, if you know what I mean. Much like Ling or Eddie, if you're standing there blocking, you're not doing it right. The whole point is to be able to transition into one stance or another, constantly keep moving. You're not going to be standing up blocking very long. It doesn't make sense to talk about frame data for a move like that. You know, if they block that move and you lay down on the ground in front of them, you know, what does minus 12 even mean in that situation? So I don't want to talk about frame data a lot, just mention it where it's important in terms of this move is unsafe or this move gives you advantage. So as I said, frame data is not super important, but I do want to talk about Lei's punishers, just because you will be blocking things, and you need to be able to get that damage back whenever it does happen. Basically, at 10 frames, he has all kind of choices. The basic 1-2 works, 1-2 jabs, and go from there. He also has 1-1, and if you hold forward, transitions him into Snake. So this is kind of a nice feature to have, to be able to get the damage and then go right back into the offense again. You know, pop, pop, and then hit him with a low. Whatever you want to do from there. He also has 2-1, which if you hold forward, it goes into the Drunken Master walk. So right away, anytime you jab punish something, you can kind of think of it in terms of, you know, tricky follow-up moves into your stances. 1-1 into Snake, sidestep, etc., etc. Choices are there. Minimal damage, but you get tons of choices from the punish. As far as I know, he doesn't have anything 11 or 12. Not that I remember, or not that I've seen now. It goes up to 13, which is his down forward 1-1. Decent enough damage, I suppose. The third hit is not a natural combo. It's only going to be minus 10, I believe. So if you do want to throw that third hit out, it's not that big a deal. It's not safe, but it's okay. If you want to keep people guessing by occasionally throwing out the third hit, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. 14 frame punishers. He can just do a standing 3, which has surprisingly good range. That's a decent chunk of damage right in their teeth. And you can hold back to go into Phoenix Illusion and all the options from there. He also has 1+2-1. Not quite as much damage, but it should be a natural combo and leaves you back turned. Also giving you the same options from there. So you get damage and you get stance transitions basically for free that let you keep the flow and keep mixing them up. So don't think about it in terms of getting max punishment damage. Think about it as you getting the situation that you want. You know, being able to just stay wild and tricky and keep them on their toes. 15, however, basic, down forward 2 launcher, and a basic up forward 4 hop kick. This down forward 2 is the variety that will not launch a crouching opponent, but is safe on block. So, I mean, other than that, at 15 frames, these are all you really need. 16, if you need a little bit more distance, say like against a Death Fist or something like that. Forward 3, this launcher is actually 16 frames, which is pretty good considering the ground that it can cover. This is minus 14 by itself. If you just do it, you can get punished for it, but you can also go back turned and do that and avoid some of the things. And you can keep yourself guarded with that second hit. But there's a risk to every one of those things. The second hit is a high. You could get popped in the back if you try to cancel, etc. So if you're blocking a Death Fist, you know you got that 16, go for it. Otherwise, you could do something simple like just forward 3-1. That's a nice bit of damage. Keeps on their toes. Forward 3-1-2 is not natural, so just stick with this in terms of punishing. Or you could do forward 1+2. Less damage again, but this side it also transitions you. This game into Panther. In the last game, it used to go into Crane. If you just held forward, you would go right into the Crane stance. Now it's Panther. So you get a little damage in your transition, only if you needed the range. If you're at a far enough range, I'd rather try to go for this launcher or go for that to get the frame advantage. So that's pretty much it for basic punishment. Launchers at 15, and a couple of different ways to get a bit of damage and free stance transitions. While standing, this was always 10 frames. I haven't measured it yet. While standing 3 used to be 10 frames for some reason, while standing 4 was your basic 11. Go figure. 13 is this while standing 1, which has some of the worst range. You're never going to get anything with it. While standing 2-1, I want to say that's in the area of 15 or 16, but it's not a launcher. Your only launcher is to hop kick, obviously, because it's not forward input, or while standing 3+4 does that. You can combo from there. So that's pretty much it. But again, your goal is to not be able to stand there blocking things. Your goal is, if you're ducking, to, you know, transition into wild stuff and get back on the ground, etc. Keep moving. So let's talk about Lei's basic attacks without going into too much complexity. Just go over what there is, and then we'll go back over what else you can do with them. So I just want to kind of go, you know, input by input and just discuss what little things there are there. With neutral inputs, he has the punch strings we mentioned earlier. 1-1 has a stance transition. 1-2 does not. 2-1, 3-4. We mentioned earlier as 2-1 being a simple punisher that you can hold forward to go into Drunken Master walk. You can also do 2-1, 3+4. This used to be a nice wall combo. Just keep them guessing, I guess, if you want to. If you're expecting this all day, all of a sudden they might press buttons in between that. -11, unsafe, not a big deal. 1+2 does this spinning back fist, which leaves Lei back turned automatically. You can't do anything about it, I don't think. He just stays that way. You can also do 1+2-1 right away and get that second hit, or 1+2-2 and get that mid punch that knocks them down. This one is a natural combo, the other one is not. So 1+2-1 gets you that damage and leaves you back turned still. His kicks, he has 3-3, which people are going to see coming a mile away. This is an old trick. They block that low. You might be far away, but they're still going to have a chance to wreck you pretty hard. This thing's basic use is to do 3 and then hold back to go to Phoenix Illusion, like we mentioned before. On counter hit, it will be a natural combo. So if you feel like you got it, you can let it rip in that regard, but pretty risky. They're going to block that low and hurt you pretty bad for it. But 3, that's the only 3 kick that he has. His 4 kick, he has a magic 4, but I'm not quite sure exactly how to combo in this game. Just the counter hit, standing 4. I'm not sure what you do there, but it clearly is bouncing them up. So I'm sure there's a combo in there. I just haven't figured it out yet. Not to mention the, the variety of new tailspin moves that he has, stuff like that. So probably a magic 4 combo, just don't know it. So as far as a single 4 goes, he has that. 4-4 makes him do this. If you just hit as fast as you can, he drops down to that low, where you have 4-4, 3-3, that whole string. It's only 3 hits. 4-4 is a single low hit, and then the 2-3 follow-ups result in that. If that second hit catches them, that'll get launched for it. Kind of a common thing. People used to do that a lot, and then just drop down into this, roll over, catch you with something like that. It's the beginning of your mix-up game. Be able to just drop down to a low that quickly, and then do weird shit like that in their face. It's all part of being tricky. His other neutral stance kicks would be 4-3. You just hit them together as quickly as you can. 4-3. Does this and leaves him in the sidewind, again on the ground, ready to do tricky stuff. He also has 3-4, which is kind of like the same thing, but instead of going to the ground, he goes into the air. 3-4 does this, and you can press 4 2 more times to continue those flip kicks. At each time, you can press down after each one to drop right into play dead. And then do weird stuff like that again. So anytime Lei ends up on the ground is good for him. It keeps him away from punishment and lets him go into the whole variety of weird low stuff versus weird mid stuff. So 3-4, 4-4 get you up to 3 of those, and then the ability to drop down and do stuff like that. Forward input moves. He doesn't have a lot of them. He just has the forward 1+2 that we mentioned earlier. Really good pushback on block. They're not going to be able to do anything to you. But if they do block it and you go into stance, you're taking a risk. There's no good frame advantage there, so just keep that in mind. We mentioned forward 3-1-2. That last hit will launch, but it's not going to be a natural combo. You can keep them guessing and maybe catch it every so often, but be careful with it. Forward 4 is called beating kick. It's the beginning of a rush combo. He has several of these things that are just long, like 4 or 5 hit sequences with different options therein. I'll cover those in a separate section, but forward 4 by itself is that big sweeping high kick. On counter hit, it causes him to crumple like that. So we'll go over the rush combo version of it later, but forward 4 by itself is just that simple high hit. And then forward 3 plus 4 takes him directly into Drunken Master Walk without having to transition. Forward 3 plus 4. So go on to his down forward inputs. Most of these are basic mids. Down forward 1 1 1 we saw. 3 hits, not a natural combo, but still good enough. Down forward 2 is a basic launcher. Down forward 3 is this homing kick with a nice amount of pushback both on hit and on block. Down forward 4, straightforward mid poke. Down forward 1 2, whoops, is this. This is a nice little attack. Just in general, but holding it in the Tiger is where it really shines. This is one of the ones where he gets an instant transition. He doesn't have to, you know, go through the dance to end up in a stance. He can go right into this in the Tiger where he has that dangerous attack. So down forward 1 2 is a really good move just by itself. Still negative on block. It's not plus, even though it feels like it can be. It's negative, but when you go into Tiger, the world is yours. You have a lot of choices now. You have a mid launcher now. You have the low launcher, all that stuff. Down inputs. He has down 2 2. Again, this is not a natural combo, but you can keep people guessing. You know, you're going to be doing crazy things in their face all day. There's 180 moves for them to think about all the time. As soon as they forget that this has a follow-up and they start pressing buttons, you'll catch them. So always keep that in mind with these 3-hit strings or whatever that aren't natural combos. You can do them every so often just to keep your opponent off guard, but most of them are unsafe. However, they're not that unsafe. Most of these moves are minus 10, 11, 12. It's not that bad. So down 2 2, a nice little string just to have in your pocket once in a while. Down 3 is this little standing low. Pretty good. Nice range on it. Not tremendous range. It's not cheating or anything, but it's got good range. Down 4 is this little ankle kick, whose best feature, I think, is to hold down and go into snake. That's really what you want that for. There's a down 4-4 like this. That's low mid. Not a natural combo, launch punishable. So I would really shy away from doing that a lot and just do this and concentrate into snake, where you have mid launchers and all that stuff. Right in snake, pop, 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 pop. Keep them guessing. That's down 4's best attribute, is the transition right there. The other down directions are all button combinations. This is how he goes to the ground directly. Down 1 plus 2 is a sidewind stance like this. Down 1 plus 4 is the opposite direction, him facing you. Down 3 plus 4 is play dead like this. And down 2 plus 3 is play dead facing the other way. That's how he can get directly into a ground stance, but down in any 2 buttons gives him a different option. And he can transition back and forth with all that stuff. We'll get to that part later again. But down inputs are basically how Lei drops to the ground real quick. Just like, think of it in terms of most characters would do like back 3-4 to go back turned. Lei will be the same. Forward 3 plus 4 is this stance. Down and anything else are these stances. Just think of it like that. So on to down back inputs. This little down back one is kind of slow, but it's very evasive. It leaves him in sitting snake. And sitting snake doesn't have a lot of options. You can basically just go low again. Very risky. Or go mid. Down back 4-4 is where Lei really got started annoying people, is the Wraith kick. Natural combo. Big, big, big punish when you block that low. And if you're out of range, you can duck the high. But instead of just going for this all day, they gave Lei options out of it, which are hold down to go into snake, or he can hold forward to go into Drunken Master Walk. This used to give him a combo in tag too. He used to be able to do that to a bound move. Now I'm not sure what he would get. I haven't explored it all too much yet. So, having said that, Lei's combo section is going to be pretty brief. There's going to be a litany of things out there that I haven't figured out yet, but we'll go over the basic stuff you're going to need to get started. So down back 4, still a really good move. Clean hit is going to trip. Far away, it shouldn't. Yeah, it just does that. And then you get the stance transitions and all the stuff you want after it. Keep going. Down back 1 plus 2 is a nice little move. It's got a nice evasion to it and that knockdown. Not safe on block, but not a big deal. Most backswing blow type attacks are unsafe. Counter hit doesn't change anything. You just get that big ass knockdown. It's just a fun move to hit people with. That's really all. And then down back 3 plus 4, the other 2 buttons, is this donkey kick. It just kind of whoop, hits you once and drops right to the ground where you have all those cool options again. So, move on to the back inputs. Back 2 used to be this little palm strike. The only thing that it did was to go into dragon when you held forward. That was kind of it. This is a quick way to get to Dragon Stance. Now you have back 2-4. You know, I'm going to set him to just block things that aren't natural combos. But you can see that is. Back 2-4, natural combo, it's one of his new screw attacks. So get used to that. You're going to like that move a lot. It is natural, but they're going to duck that if it gets blocked, 100%. Same with this. The old back 4-1, this is low-high. Natural on counter hit, which has always felt like it's a little delayable. You can kind of read that, but they're going to duck that on you too. So be warned. Back 1+2 is this headbutt, which is safe on block. A little bit of evasion to it. And you get that new knockdown, that tech rollable knockdown afterward. They can block, so it's just a huge amount of frame advantage for you. It just lets you get right in their face before they stand up again. And then back 3+4, we mentioned for this simple transition into back turn. So normally, thank you, phone. Jesus, shut up. Normally, that'd be about it for basic normal attacks, but in Lei's case, we have a litany of up moves as well. Just neutral up, straight up, no direction. Up 1+2 is this. As far as I know, that never did shit in the old games. Now in this game, when you press 4, you get that launcher. You get a low launcher out of it. Got to assume that's super punishable on block. It looks just like the rave kick for the most part. You're going to get nailed for it. So I don't think there's a mix-up there, right? Unless you just hop kick or something. But they did give him that option, so that is a thing now. Up forward 1 is a weird little move like this. I don't know why that's really there. It's just a quick slap in the face. It's the same kind of animation as the second hit of this, but doesn't really seem to be good for anything by itself. I don't know. Kind of curious. To be up forward 1, that's an unnecessary input to have. Up forward 2, however, is badass. That's the falling tree that you just leap and elbow drop onto things with it. You also get this out of back turn. Boom. Great move. It's just fun for the, you know, the entertainment value. Doesn't matter if it's good or not. Just do it because it's cool. Up forward with both punches is this throw, where he also kicks him with a big bow. Then the kicks, basic up forward 4 hop kick, just like everybody else. Up forward 3 is a hop kick into crane stance, but it does not launch unless it's a counter hit. Like that. So keep in mind, if they block that, it's doomsday for you. There's nothing you can do. You're going to get plowed right in the face. You have no time to really do anything about it. It's not going to be any kind of frame advantage for you on block. They're going to get you for it if they're paying attention. So just be warned, that's really for, you know, you need to win the match right now, counter hit situations. That's about it. And up forward 3+4, both of them together, is this. There used to be a follow-up too. They took that away, it seems. It is a launcher. You can do that, I think. But there used to be a whole nother tumble kick. He would tumble even tighter and then spin around. It was a very cool kung fu type of move that they changed. It's still, like, the normal kick is still there. You still get that, but you lost the extra extension off of, which just made it look cooler, that's all. And then the final thing that's up back, other than falling tree, being able to do it backwards. With up back 2, he has up back 4, which is this. This move you can use to hold forward, to go into crane afterward, or hold back to go into Phoenix Illusion. This is pretty much how you're going to end wall combos a lot of times too. You can end wall combos with this, and then that. So that's his only up back move that's noteworthy, is up back 4. So some of his other normals, forward stuff, is this forward 2. This is his power crush move. It's also a screw attack. It's only -12. That's pretty average. You know, mid power crushes are always unsafe. -12 is decent. This used to be a bound move. Now it's a screw attack instead. It also used to cause a counter hit launcher. Now it does not. So it did lose that. Forward 1+2 is a command throw. Boop. Forward 3-4 is this launcher that we mentioned earlier. Lots of options. Back turned. Continue with the second hit, etc. Negative, very negative on block if you're just going to throw this out there, but really good as a punisher at distance. That's forward 3-4. Forward 4, 3+4 is this. Both highs. Natural combo, though. Also a screw attack. Much like Dragunov's 4-4 is a simple kick into a flying kick. you kind of had to use it situationally. It's really good for like a balcony break situation where they're nice and high in the air. Then you can do this and get a high damage screw attack. They're going to be able to duck that, but it's a natural hit on its own. You can also just do the one hit, or not. Is that gone now? You used to be able to just do forward, forward, 4, and then hold forward to go into crane. Wonder if that's gone. Oh, that's right, you cancel. Never mind. You do both hits. Forward, forward, 4, 3 plus 4. But you hold forward to cancel the hit and end up in crane. That's what it is. So that'll also keep people guessing, too. If they're expecting you to go for that second high hit, you can go with this and catch them with crane attacks. And the other forward attack is both kicks. It's a nice low damage drop kick. For him putting his entire body weight right in your chest, doesn't do a lot of damage. It's fun to just throw out there just to be able to pop people with it, keep them guessing. If I could do it right, that'd be nice. There you go. What other things are there? Back 1 used to be punch into Drunken Master, which is gone now. And then the biggest category he has is forward neutral stuff. Like you just tap forward, and you see how he does that little shimmy step there? There's a bunch of moves that come out of that. We'll cover that in its own section, too, under the rush combos. So he has several of those. The only one that remains is forward neutral 3, that kick. That used to have options. He used to have follow-ups to it. Now they changed it. All that does is just hit once and leave Lei back turned. Just a simple, big damage kick into the stance transition. This is also a screw attack if you need it. And that only leaves sidestep moves. We're almost there. Sidestep 1, this little snake strike has 2 options. You can hold forward to go into Tiger stance, or you can press up or down to go into Dragon. Whatever you feel like at the time. Sometimes I don't even tell myself which one I'm going to do. I just kind of like do it at random and then go from there. Okay, I'm in Dragon, let me do this. Just to have... That way, if I don't know what I'm doing, there's no way they know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Sidestep 2, you can hold forward to go into Drunken Master Walk like that, or hold back to stay back turned. You can also do Sidestep 2, do the second hit, which is a natural combo, and go to Drunken Master Walk that way by holding forward. And then here's the real crown jewel of this set of moves. Sidestep 4 is a safe mid-launcher. Just as innocuous as it can be. He just steps and he kicks you in the air. Just like that. So that's pretty much it. The only thing he gained... his running 3 is now that launcher instead of a typical slash kick. And running 1. This is plus a ton. At least like 6 or 7 from what I could tell. Running 1, pretty good move. Airborne's going to beat out lows. Nice frame advantage. Counter hit doesn't change anything. It's still just a good knockdown. You know, you have plenty of options to start going into stuff like this on top of them. So that's pretty much it for Lei's normals. I went through basically the whole moveset out of neutral stance and talked about some of their stance transitions. Later on, we'll go over more of the stance transitions. Here's why you want to use these moves to get this particular situation. But as for now, that's pretty much it. A couple of basic punches. The cancel kicks like the 3 to 4 or the 4 to 3 give him more variety of just spin kicks, let's say, you know, tumble kicks and tornado kicks and stuff like that. Very few forward inputs. They're pretty good, the ones that he has. They have nice range. When you press forward in 1+2 or 3-1, both have really good range. Down forward is a basic variety of mid stuff. The launcher, the basic generic poke. Down lows are all pretty good. Stand transitions, but general set of decent lows. Down attacks are basically your ability to... Any 2 buttons will get you to lay into the ground in one of the various stances. Otherwise, low attacks coming out of there. Down back, stance low, and the old rave kick, down back 4-4. And the lotus palm. Back inputs are a little bit more varied. Some cool stuff in there, but a lot of it is high. You have to be careful. Back 4-1, those are all high, so they're going to get ducked. And then the upward moves, the new tumble kick into the low, the falling tree, and the 2 hop kicks. The normal hop kick, and then the counter hit only crane hop kick. Forward 2 is an old classic move. It is unsafe now, so you can't use it as sparing, you know, as wildly as you used to. It has to be a little bit more sparing now. And then the forward 3 kicks are also very good. All of these options are pretty solid. Sidestep moves are very good. Sidesteps into Drunken Master Walk, sidestep into Tiger, and then the sidestep mid-launch. So that's pretty much it for his normals. Now, the real second layer adds on with all of his stances and what they can do and how they move together. Alright, let's get into the real fun. Lei has just an arsenal of techniques and stances that he can use, but the centerpiece among them is the 5 gates form. 5 primary animal stances that Lei uses that can move back and forth between each other, that all have a slightly different purpose, but all kind of fit together as one whole piece. It's almost like a second character just layered on top of him. The simplest way to do these is 3+4. He does that little wind up, but if you do nothing or press one of the 4 buttons, you get a different stance. So the 5 general stances are snake, whoops, looks like that. And if you do 3+4, 1, you get the dragon stance. 3+4, 2 gets you the panther that looks like that. 3+4, 3 is tiger. And 3+4, 4 is crane. So these are the 5 basic stances, and you can transition between each one of them by sidestepping. If you go into snake, you sidestep left, it becomes dragon, and then tiger, and then repeats. Dragon, tiger. If you go the other way, then it goes tiger, dragon, snake. And then starting from snake, if you go to your right, you get panther, and then crane, etc. So to your left is dragon, tiger, to your right is panther, crane, in that order. You can go backwards between the two of them like that. Sidestepping will transition you from one into the other. Not to mention, the moves within each stance that can do the same thing will lead you into another one. So let's go over these 5 stances and all of their individual moves and how their transitions work. Like I said, the most basic form is the snake. This probably has the most moves in it with the most variety, and it has a good job of getting you into the other stances. You can also do this by just doing forward 2+3, a quick sidestep into snake. Because it used to be this 3+4, that was new in Tag 2, I believe. There was no way to just go into a raw stance like that. You had to like razor left combo and do this, which is very risky. So now that you have this, you can go right into a stance quickly if you need to. And you want to start with snake. Snake is the basis for learning how all these work. So the first attack out of snake is 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. All highs, they're all going to be a natural combo, and they're going to jail you, so there's not too much risk there. If you keep doing it and you hold forward, he goes right back into snake again. He takes the sidestep into snake. And almost all of these stances, when they do transition, will have a built-in sidestep. That's kind of the risk of them all, is if an opponent is really aggressive, you'll sidestep them, but if they know it's coming, they'll wait for that sidestep and just destroy you. So it's kind of a double-edged sword in that regard. Very few moves like this just go right into their stance. Most of them have a bit of a step, like that. So keep that in mind. Your stance transitions are not free. They can be destroyed by an opponent who's keen on them. But you can't let that stop you from using them. You just have to be clever about how you do it. So snake 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 is that high sequence. 2, 2, 2 looks like that. It's mid, mid, low. Now, there's no mix-up there. Everybody and their grandmother knows since Tekken 3 that third hit is a low, and they're going to low parry it. You could almost forget about that even existing at this point, but it does. You know, just if you feel like it's your lucky day, you can go for it. But each one of these will transition another stance. If you just do a single 2 and hold forward, you get dragon. If you do 2, 2 and hold forward, you also get dragon. And if you do all 3, which I don't recommend, and hold forward, you get panther. And this was the old Tekken 3 trick that used to drive noobs crazy, is 2, 2, 2, 1, 2. Because panther scratch is also a low. So it goes mid, mid, low, low, high. And I used to just hit people all day. Nowadays, that's not going to happen. You're not going to catch anybody with that third low. 2, 2 is pretty much all that you need. And you can use that to transition into dragon. Snake also has 1, 2, 1, 2. Looks like that. Not a natural combo, and that last hit is high. So be very careful about how you use it. I think on counter hit you should get it. Oops. Nope, you don't get it on counter hit. So that's kind of out the window. They're going to duck that. There's not a real guaranteed way to get it. You could probably just survive with 1, 2, 1. And be good that way. Just get some hits and move on. He also has 1 plus 2, which is that mid, causes a nice bounce back. This is also the same mid you're going to get out of sitting snake. We'll get to that later. And then his 2 kicks. Basically, each of the 5 primary stances will have a low kick and then a rush combo attached to the rest of them. For the most part, they're not always the same. It helps to think about Lei in terms of those patterns. What do all these things have in common? When he's on the ground, 3 is always a low, and 3 plus 4 is always like a helicopter kick or something. Think about those patterns and what is similar, and then what is dissimilar. Most stances will have a low kick. In this case, it's 4, and it leaves him in snake. You don't ever come out of snake. You can just stay this way. Go back into the high strings, and then lows again, stay in snake. The 3 is that. Kind of an unusual move. This one, I'm not honestly sure how you're supposed to combo it because it leaves him on the ground. It leaves you face down like this, and I'm not quite sure what you can really get combo-wise from it. It looks a lot like this, the while standing 3 plus 4, except that when you're still, you know, mobile, you can combo. Snake 3, a little bit different situation when you catch them. You can get a follow-up, sure, but I don't know if you can get a whole combo there. So that's it for Snake. It's pretty basic for all these stances, honestly. The 1-1-1-1-1, the 2-2-2 can transition into a couple stances, and then 2 kicks. But the takeaway really is that the 1-1-1s and the 4 both leave you in snake, and 2-2, the first 2 hits go to Dragon, the third hit goes to Panther. So you got to remember stuff like that. You got to realize I'm in snake, okay, let me do those 2 mid strikes. What do I get out of it? Where am I going to be? If you end up in Dragon stance and you don't realize that's where you are, you're going to be in trouble. So you do have to learn the flow chart, so to speak, of how these work. So let's move on to Dragon, which has several ways to do it. You can do 3 plus 4 and then hit 1 right away. I mean right away. There you go. Or you can just sidestep left out of snake. So in Dragon, your one attack is a throw. Looks like that. You can also hold back to cancel that throw and fake him out a little bit. Actually cancels very quickly. Just whoop, right back into it. The 2 attack is a counter hit launcher. Gets him up in the air for a combo. As well as holding forward transitions you directly into Tiger. So you can do both. You should still be able to combo if you do both. If you catch your counter hit. Damn it. Something like that. I'm not sure. I haven't figured out that combo yet either. I haven't figured out most of them. But Dragon 2 is a counter hit launcher, mid, safe, and you hold forward to go into Tiger. Also, if you do forward 1 plus 2, that also gets you to Tiger. Oops. 3 plus 1, 1. Forward 1 plus 2 also takes you back into that Tiger stance. So Dragon goes into Tiger pretty freely. You can just sidestep left again if you want to, but you also have several ways to do it. 2 and forward 1 plus 2 will both do it. Neutral 1 plus 2 is this high launcher. It's going to jail. I do not believe they can duck that. Oops, Dragon 1 plus 2. Pop, pop. I don't think they can duck. It's too fast. It should jail them. It's a screw attack out in the open, and it's a crumple stun launcher by itself. And then all the otherwise that's left out of Dragon is the low or rush combo. In this case, 3 is your low, which you can hold forward and do that. Go into Crane, all the way on the other side of the spectrum. And then 4 is Wolf Strike. This is another combo we'll go over in the rush combo sequences. Like I said, most of these stances, the kicks, one of them will be a low, and the other one will start one of his rush combos. So we'll get to a little bit more of that later on. But Dragon 4 is a sequence of combos with plenty of options therein. So we'll come back to that in the next section. Let's move on to Panther. 3 plus 4, 2. This is if you go to the right from Snake. If you're in Snake and you sidestep right, it'll go to Panther. This is a much simpler stance. 1, 2 is that low, high. Going to catch people off guard. If they happen to block it and duck, you're in trouble. But it's pretty fast. Just pop, pop, low attack with the knockdown. It's pretty good. Panther 2 is this launcher. Mid launcher. I don't believe it transitions at all. Sometimes they hide. There's things I don't know still, you know? Sometimes they hit them in there that I didn't realize it was even a thing until last week. That one I don't believe there is any hidden trick to it. There's just the 1, 2 low, the mid launcher, 3, whoops. 3 is this little hop low that leaves you in Panther again. And then 4 is the beating kick rush combo. And then we'll cover that again in the rush combo sections. I'm going to write most of this down in like a note, or maybe just post a Google Doc in the description so you can kind of look at it instead of having to remember each one from here on out. But that's it for Panther. There's not a lot of other things to it. It doesn't really do anything else. Panther is the kind of all or nothing stance. You either get that low knockdown or you get that mid launcher, and that's it. Once you've done that, you're done. There's no more really transitioning back. Panther is the only one that doesn't take you into another stance. The low takes you back to Panther, but there's no transitioning into Tiger or to Crane or anything like that. So Panther's kind of the end of the line. You either get the low and the knockdown or the mid launcher, which is what you want, right? You either want to get a combo or do you want to, restart your offense. So that's where the sequence ends in that regard, is Panther. Now the other side, let's go to Tiger. 3 plus 3, 3. Which again, if you sidestep twice to the left out of Snake, you'll get Tiger. Now 1 is this little mid palm strike. Oops, wrong stance. This is plus on block. It is also a counter hit launcher. We're going to get that little bounce. So that's always been there. Tiger 1 and 2 both used to be mid counter hit launchers. Tiger 1 is still the same. Counter hit bounces you. But the new Tiger 2-2 is a natural launcher. It does that. The 1 used to be a bound move, and now the 2 is a screw attack. So they kind of just like traded places. But instead of requiring a counter hit, the 2 is now a natural launcher. At the cost of being mid-high. They can duck that. It's got a nice delay enough. They recognize that animation. They duck that second hit. But regardless, that's a natural launch on a Tiger. They have to kind of live in fear of that, because Tiger 4 is this. Just an unseeable low. It's so unfair. Boop! Low launcher. Like, I don't know what you're honestly supposed to do about that other than just panic. I don't know, maybe just random hop kick. So now there's a natural mid launcher and a low launcher out of Tiger that are just really hard to deal with. This is also where he has the wall bounce. 1 plus 2, that is your wall bounce attack now. And Tiger 3 is a little bit of a different one. Tiger 3 is this mid screw attack. It goes into Sitting Snake. It's one of the few things that takes you to Sitting Snake. Like that. Knocks them down. A quick mid knockdown is also a screw attack if they happen to be in the air into Sitting Snake. So Tiger is really the dangerous stance. It's the hardest to get to, but it's super dangerous. A plus frame mid, a natural mid launcher, a natural low launcher, has your wall bounce attack, and another knockdown mid that's going to be safe with another stance transition. That's the dangerous stuff right there. Tiger is really worth getting to as often as you can do it, which is why things like this are so nice. Sidestep 1 right into that Tiger stance. The other way to do it is that down forward 1 plus 2, which practically disguises your transition. You don't get frame advantage for these, keep in mind, you can be blown up, but Tiger's where you want to get. That's the dangerous stuff. And so the last stance out of 5 gates form is the crane. You can do 3 plus 4, 4, go like that. Excuse me. 1 is that little mid strike for the knockdown. 2 is now a little bit different. That's a high homing move and is also a screw attack. Like you can do stuff like use it for that. Weird looking, kind of takes to the air a little bit, but they turned that into a screw attack. It used to just be kind of like a back fist that would leave him turned around. Now they turned it into a full spin around homing attack. So that's Crane 2. Crane 1 plus 2 is this. Used to be able to combo that too. I don't even remember how, to be honest. I forget how to do that, but it's probably still there. Whoops. Crane. Man, timing is off today. Crane 4 is that low kick that knocks him down. And then the Crane dance is 3, 4, 2, 3. None of that's natural. They're going to block that last hit. It's just kind of there to like keep them guessing, I suppose. They're going to know that second hit's a low anyway and parry it before you even get to that point. So it's one of those things that like people have seen a million times, but it is still there. And the other thing out of Crane is he has an up forward 4 hop kick. Pretty much like the normal hop kick. He had the normal hop kick, and then the up forward 3 hop kick leaves him into Crane, but only works on counter hit. Once you're in Crane, up forward 4 becomes a normal hop kick again. Like that. Leaves you in Crane a second time, so you can go, right into that. Or whatever you want to do from there. But that's it for Crane. Crane's the one that you kind of, it's only for style points. There's nothing terribly good out of it. The low is nice, but people are going to be super scared of that low, and I don't know if your mids are as good enough to back that up. The Tiger low is much more dangerous, and the mids are much better to cover. So Crane is mostly just style points. In case, you know, someone's coaching your opponent to sweep the leg, this is how you want to counter it. Because the Crane stance will auto hop kick a low attack. Let me just show you that real quick, just in case you don't believe me. I'll start recording this. Like you can even hear, I'm not pressing any buttons. I'll do it again. Listen. Nothing. That hop kick is automatic. He automatically hop kicks low attacks, and is going to have the same thing. You'll see that too. So the advice of sweep the leg is not a very good one when your opponent knows this technique. Lei will automatically hop kick them, you get the whole combo, whatever it gets from there. Like that. So that's all Crane is for. The super style points and the Karate Kid references. Other than that, Tiger's the one that you really want. Alright, let's go over the rest of Lei's other stances as well as his lying on the ground options. The 5-gauge form covers most of what Lei does in terms of being a cool-ass kung fu movie character and their functionality. The couple other things that just round out the puzzle are the Drunken Master walk, which you get with forward 3+4. This doesn't really get you anywhere else, it just does its own thing. You can get into it from a couple other options like this, 2-1 holding forward, or say, sidestep 2-2 and hold forward. But it doesn't get into Snake or Crane or anything like that. The only way to transition Drunken Master is from a transition out of a neutral attack or from the ground. If you're on the ground and you +1/+2, he'll stand right up in the Drunken Master even if he's backwards. Doesn't matter. So, the Drunken Master walk has several options into it, as well as some built-in parry kind of stuff. I never fully understand the rules, but there are ways. It does have like some built-in options to it. I'd have to look into further because they might have changed that. Honestly, I haven't tried it out yet. This is just to cover the basics of the character, to learn how to play him. Then you get to set people up with auto parries and stuff like that later. So Drunken Master walk has 1, which is this. You hold forward to go right back into it. It has 2-2. Again, hold forward to stay into it. This is the same as your sidestep 2. And that 1, that used to be the same as back 1, but it looks like they took that move away. This is a mid, and 2-2 is a mid high. Look how fast he covers that ground, though. Like a little bit of a hesitation, and then boop, right on you. 4 is that mid launcher. It's a backwards juggle, so it can be a little hard to deal with. And 3-2-4 is that sequence. 3-2 used to be a bound move in the old game. Used to be able to do a rave kick and do that. It's not a bound move anymore, so that's kind of gone. The Drunken Master 3-2-4 is that flip kick, which also actually does have transition now that I think about it. I forgot all about that. That ends in the same move as up back 4, which can go into Crane or Phoenix. Phoenix illusion that way, or Crane by holding forward. I forgot all about that one. So that's not something you're going to use a lot, to be honest. They could probably blow you up in the recovery of this. If they have, like, Brian would just mock punch you right in the face before you even had a chance to do any of that. But it is there. Some of the other things Drunken Master walk can do is back 1+2, which is that spinning, leaping headbutt. It actually combos. Like that. I basically just hold down forward the whole time. Oops. Because that'll force you to stand up and then crouch. And full crouch down forward. 2-1-4 is that ballroom dance. I think I missed that earlier. Full crouch down forward 2. I did. I totally missed that. Oh well, we'll go back to it. So yeah, that does actually combo. If you catch them with this, it's the exact same combo you're going to do out of Tiger 4. That low gives you pretty much the only option you have is that full crouch, low string. So he does have a second launcher out of Drunken Master with a little bit of evasion to it. He rears back and then lets you have it. He can also do 1+2 3 times to take drinks and fall to the ground. This used to restore his health in old games. I don't know if it still does now. I don't know if I can even set my health to be depleted or not, but I don't care. And again, it's just to learn that it's there. You can test it out later if it actually does heal you or not. 1+2, and you press it 3 times. He can also do up back 1+2, which is the drinking from the barrel. If you look at what he's miming, he's taking a drink of wine from the whole barrel at one time, and he falls to the ground. You think, well, why would I do that? I'm going to be vulnerable for 4.5 minutes. You can fake him into that if you press 1. Up, back, 1+2, and then 1. Fakes him out and hits him with that jab. He can also do up forward 1+2, which is that. Just kind of fall right on him. And then end up in the sidewind stance facing towards. And the only other thing that he has is 3+4, which is that. He gets completely out of the way and knocks him down with a low. Which is like that. Leaves him opposite sidewind stance. So that's everything for Drunken Master. It's a little bit weird. It's really for the highest levels of messing with your opponent. You know, if they're really just fed up with everything that you're doing, that's when you start getting them with the, the transition to this stuff, and then boop, jump out of the way and kick him in the ankles. It's the most, like, I don't want to say impractical, because a lot of the moves are actually pretty good. It's just you're actually going to find yourself in Drunken Master a lot because it can go right into basic things this way. It's not a bad stance at all. It's just kind of, it's all or nothing. You really have to get the move correct for the situation. It's not like you're presenting them with a hard mid-low mix-up. You just kind of have to keep them guessing and hope they didn't anticipate anything that you might do. You know, if you get them conditioned to fear this low, then you get them opened up for the mid-launcher like that. The other complementary stance Lei has is back 1+4, Phoenix Illusion. It's temporary. This one, he will drop right back out of it. He won't stay in it forever. And Phoenix Illusion is mostly just duplicates of existing moves that he already had. For example, Phoenix 1 is this. As I mentioned, that used to be back 1, but it looks like it's gone now. It's the same attack as the Drunken Master one, only they took all the neutral version of it. That's the only way to get to it now is Phoenix 1. He also has, you can do the punch and then fall right to the ground like that, as well as fall on with an elbow. If you notice, he sticks his hand out. He'll actually land with a fist on them if they happen to be close enough. If they block, he has one more hit on his way to the ground. It's just very, very sneaky. It's enough to hit them, leave you in that wake-up situation, and then, hit him with a low again or a mid. So Phoenix 1 is that sort of Drunken Master one. Phoenix 2 is basically the same as forward 2, except it's a natural launcher. It still has the armor, it still has the screw attack, but it's a natural launcher instead of having to be a counter hit. In the last game, forward 2 had to be a counter hit to launch, and Phoenix 2 was a natural launcher. In this game, that got rid of the counter hit, but Phoenix maintained that. So Phoenix 2 is a natural screw attack launcher like that. Phoenix 3 is basically the same as 3-3. Your 3-3 kicks do this, and if you remember, if you press 3 and hold back, you go into Phoenix. So you can do this all day. Just keep pressing 3 and holding back, and it'll cancel itself into Phoenix Illusion every time. At any point, you can do 3-3 to unleash the low. Still risky, but it's there. If they're getting tired of dealing with this, you know what I mean, you can let that low go at any time, and you might fool them, but probably not. The other next option is Phoenix 4, which is that little ankle kick into Snake. That's a nice little tricky one. If they see this stance and they're expecting, some big tumble kick type thing like that, you have plenty of just quick low right into Snake, and then go back into your business that way. Back 4, as I showed you, is that tornado kick. Whoops. And you can press 4 2 more times. This is the exact same move as 3 to 4, where you can press 4 to get a second and a third flip kick, and each one you can hold down to drop into the sidewind stance. So that's back 4 out of Phoenix. Back 3 is just that. A simple straight kick that also leaves him back into Phoenix. So you can tell there's a slight little difference. The neutral 3 is a spin kick where he stops and then cancels. Back 3, he kind of goes right into it. It's much quicker to look at. And the final thing Phoenix does is 1+2 into Drunken Master Walk. Takes a sip and goes into that. So again, this is another complementary stance. It's not one you want to seek out all the time, but you can find ways into it, and it is there. Especially using this 3. If you're going to use this as your 14-frame Punisher, you're going to find yourself into the Phoenix Illusion a lot. Just know what you have when you get there. Know that you have, you know, a mid-launcher at your disposal, and a low knockdown and all that stuff. The other least seen stance that Lei has is Sitting Snake. The quickest way to get to it, I think, is down back 1. Down back 1 automatically leaves you in that Sitting Snake, which again is also temporary. He won't stay in it forever. He will revert into Play Dead, which from Play Dead, I think he can do, I forget how. Oh yeah, 3+4. Takes him back into it. Doesn't it? Yeah, 3+4, back into Sitting Snake. If you let it go, he goes into the Play Dead. 3+4 activates it again. But while you're in Sitting Snake, your only two options are 1, which is that mid. Nice knockdown on that mid. And 4, which is that low. Should be able to combo that low. It's probably different now, though. I'll think about it some other time. I haven't worked out most of those combos, but you should be able to combo that one. So that's just one little icing on the cake. The only other way I know of to get to that is Dragon 3? No. Shit, I don't even remember now. There's one of the other stances that goes right into the Sitting Snake. It's Tiger 3. That little mid drops you into Sitting Snake. That's the only other way I know to get to it, other than Play Dead. So down back 1 goes into it. Tiger 3 goes into it if you hold forward. And from Play Dead, 3+4 goes into it. It only has two choices, a knockdown mid and a low launcher. So if you've ever find yourself there, keep those in mind. That was kind of hard to hit by accident, but it is there. If you got your opponent fearing your Tiger stance, the mid launcher and the low launcher, you know what I mean, they have to take a guess one or the other. You can always just keep it different, go for that mid kick, and then into Sitting Snake. That way they forgot about what they were just thinking about and have to think of an entirely new situation. So Sitting Snake isn't super useful, but it is there for like the 3 different ways there are to get into it. Mid knockdown, low launcher, which is honestly pretty good for a mix-up. Just keep in mind you have to take the chance when you get there. If they block that low, it's your ass. Or you could do nothing and go back to Play Dead, where you have all these other wild-ass lows and mid get-up kicks and stuff like that. So the only remaining stance doesn't even feel like it's a stance when you see everything else that Lei does, but that is back-turned. For a lot of other characters, that's all they have, is just turning backwards. For Lei, it just seems like it's extra at this point. But he has all kinds of back-turned options again. So let's go over those real quick. 1, 1, 3, 2. Whoops. 1, 1, 3, 2 is that whole sequence. You're never going to hit anybody with the whole thing. They're going to parry that low. But it's there just to... 1, 1 isn't too bad on its own. 1, 1, 3 is going to get you low parried. Back turn 2 is that. It's a homing move, it is a screw attack, and it's mid. Back turn 2 is a pretty good one, especially like near at the wall. And if you give them some of that, and then you do one of these, you're going to the wall splat. Good stuff there. From back turn, you can also do falling tree with up forward too. Same as you can forward. Whoops. Back turn 3 is a basic high kick that turns him around again. Knockdown though. Such a simple little high kick to get you a knockdown. Back turn 4 is very interesting because it has 3 different extensions. 4-4 is that. 4-3 is this, which launches. And 4-1 is this, which also launches. That's a new version of it. Turn on counter hit. You can see 4-3 does that. You can see 4-1 does that. 4-1 is a screw attack you're going to use a lot, but if you catch him with the counter hit, you start with the screw attack right away. So 4 is an interesting one back turn. 4-4 is that guy that used to be a bound move, and now there's 4-1 that's also a screw attack. Some other things he has are 1+2, which is this sequence you can keep doing, or down 1, which is the low version of that. Both of them leave him in back turned. The The only difference, if you're already back turn, 1 plus 2, 2 does that. Slight different version from the front. If you're facing forward, this is 1 plus 2, 1. An automatic second hit, and then you keep pressing 1 plus 2 to continue. 1 plus 2, 2 was this, which only exists from the front. If you're back turned, 1 plus 2, 2 is that. Not super practical, but it exists. Again, just to catch them off guard, if they were trying to get in on you, they'll take a free hit, and you'll be in that stance, ready to mess them up worse. So back turn, 1 plus 2 is a way to keep doing the back fist. Highs. Down 1 is the lows. Down 4 is the same as the down back 4 rave kick. Transition to snake or to Drunken Master. Possibly a combo from there. And the last thing is 3 plus 4, 3 plus 4, 3 plus 4. You get triple backflips. All leaving you back turned as a result from each one. So that's it for back turned. And honestly, that's it for all the rest of Lei's traditional stances. The rest of them are things he does when he's lying on the ground. And as I said, down and any 2 buttons will put you in some kind of grounded stance. Most characters will have, well, every character has 4, basically. There's face down, feet toward, face up, feet toward, and then there's face up, feet away, and face down, feet away, right? 4 different ways to lay down. Towards or away, up or down. Lei not only has those, but he has a style version of it. I'm just pressing 2, and it cycles between them. Like, if I just do down 3 plus 4, this is play dead. If I just press 2, it reverts him to the typical knockdown state. So when he's in this, he has the basic get-up kicks, the 3, 4 that anybody else does. But when he's in the style version of it, he has different options now. This applies to any of them, whether you're in the face-up, play dead, or if you're in the face-down, sidewind. 2 toggles between the normal and the Lei version of it, and 1 rolls you over. If you keep holding down, it rolls you over, let's say that. You'll stay on the ground. If you keep pressing 1, he'll roll over into the other one. Like that. Anything that you want to. The other thing that he has in common with all of these is when you press 1 plus 2, he'll stand up into Drunken Master Walk, regardless of which way he's facing. He'll go backwards, just like this. And in this situation, your inputs are reversed. It's going to get you in trouble if you didn't realize that was going to happen. So, they all have that in common. You can toggle to the normal grounded state or roll over from face up, face down. By and large, they all have other things in common, which is that 3 is a low. Some of them, they're just like slightly different animations in some cases. Here's Sidewinds 3, has that little bit of a helicopter spin to it. Here's Play Dead's 3, pretty much the same thing, right? They're just a little bit different in their terms of how quickly you wake up, or if you wake up crouching or standing or whatever. If you do this Sidewind and do 3, it's that. It's the normal get-up kick. If you do this Play Dead, it's also the normal get-up kick that trips. So 3s are always the low, like you'd expect. That's just sometimes they're a slightly different low. If you're in the fancy version of the grounded, you have this instead. You can do, I don't know, whatever else there is out of it. 4s are, again, the most part, the standard get-up kick. One of the big exceptions is this one. Play dead, feet away. 4 is a spring kick like that, a launcher. By and large, the rest of them, though, are just a basic get-up kick like this. Regular mid get-up kick. If you do play dead, it's a homing move. Not very different, though, in application. It's just a mid get-up kick. But the other play dead is a big spring kick launcher. This is the one you're going to see after this. If you do the 3 to 4 tornado kicks, right there, that's the one you get. That's the most common way I use to get into that stance. If I do these things, I lay up and you end up in play dead like this. And then you have the spring kick. So 3 is a low in general. 4 is a basic mid get-up kick. Play dead, feet away. 4 is a launcher. The rest of them all have a 3 plus 4. Which does stuff like that. It's usually like a tumbling cartwheel sort of kick that gets him back up off the ground that way. 3 plus 4 out of basic sidewind is... Damn, why can't I do this today? Is this one. Out of the other sidewind, it's this one. where he goes into play dead as well. Takes him automatically back into play dead. Play dead's 3+4 is sitting snake. That's the one, like, real exception there. And then play dead feet away. Same thing, you know, he's just facing the other direction. So, to summarize the grounded stances, 3 is a low, some are fancier lows. 4 is usually a get-up kick. Play dead feet away, 4 is a spring kick launcher. And 3+4 are all like double cartwheel kicks for the most part, where play dead feet toward is sitting snake. And that's about it. There's a couple of other things. Sidewind has clean sweep, which is 4 to 3 that you can do normally. Even if you're standing neutral and you do 4 to 3, it leaves you in sidewind, you can do it again. You can keep doing that. And then from sidewind, you can do 3 to 4, which is the rave kick. That also drops you back into play dead. You don't have the options off of this one, you just go back into play dead. Same with this one. If you're in that play dead, the feet away play dead, and you do 3 to 4, you get the whole rave kick. So that's it. You know, again, like I said before, think about the patterns. Think about what they have in common, and then notice little differences. So that's pretty much it for the grounded stances as well as all of the other auxiliary stances Lei has. And again, I'll put a link to the Google Doc or whatever in the description so you can look at these things and kind of get a visual representation. Oh, 3 is a low, 3 is a low, 3 is a low, and help learn it that way. So to round out Lei's moveset, let's talk about his rush combos. They're fairly unique to him. Nobody else has anything that's really like this. They are 4 or 5 hit long strings with variations in them that kind of all just go unfettered. They're not going to be natural combos, but he has mix-ups in them and stance transitions and stuff like that. So they all kind of work the same way, and they tie the whole puzzle together because some of the other stances can lead to these things. So the first one to look at is called the beating kick, which is these 3 right here. They all start the same, forward 4, 2-1-2, and then the ender is either a 3 kick for a low or a 4 kick for a mid, and the option to transition into crane. I mentioned forward 4 earlier as a counter hit launcher by itself, but forward 4 is the beginning of the beating kick. So if you didn't get your counter hit, you can still go into the rest of the combo and go for a mix-up at the end of it. It'll look like this. There's the low. As you can see, he blocks the whole thing. It's a mix-up at the end. You have to kind of take a guess. And there's the mid, and if you hold up or down, he'll transition into crane. So if they guess correctly at the end of this, the only thing, when they recognize beating kick, is this. They know the 3 punches are the same. And if you finish the string, you're either going to finish it with a low or a mid kick. And if they guess right, they're going to punish you pretty bad for it. It's really kind of unnecessary to take the risk for it. You can sort of just do that and stop and, you know, keep them guessing. I think is a little bit more productive in this case. Given that's the only option there is that low mid at the end of it, right? So it's a mix-up and you'll get damage, but I think you'll take more damage in the long run by them guessing you correctly. The next rush combo is called Razor Rush, and it's this whole sequence here. But if you just look at these last 3 entries right here, you see the same thing. A 3 kick is a low, 4 kick is a mid, with the option to go into crane. So that whole thing looks like this. There's the low. 1, 2, 1, 2, 4, and into crane. The difference with this one is if you stop and press up or down, instead of just after the kick at the end, after any of the hits, you'll transition into a different stance. If you just do the first hit, you'll go into snake. If you do the second hit, you'll go into dragon, etc. It does not matter which way you go, up or down. For any move that transitions into a stance by up or down, they'll always be the same. You won't go the wrong way. So you go all the way, you get tiger, etc. from that. Now all these have that built-in sidestep. If your opponent is ready for it, they'll catch you. If you go all the way to tiger, they're going to be like, okay, I'm just going to hit him as soon as he flinches, and they'll kick you for it. Whereas if you are kind of quick about it, like just 2 hits and then go, you'll keep them guessing a lot more. So Razor Rush is unique. You can just use this to start offense a lot until your opponent gets keen on your timing and what you're going to do out of it. It's pretty effective at just getting yourself into a stance real quick. And if they did get counter hit, they'll take a couple of these hits before you can transition out of it. The next rush combo is called Defense Breaker. Let me set the opponent to guard, and you'll see what it does. It's basically just a guard break without any real damage after. He does this, which leaves him back turned and kind of pushes them away, and it just sort of resets to neutral. That's kind of all it does. It's not like super practical, but that's, you know what I mean. If they're going to be blocking, you can do that, and it'll force them into not being able to backdash at you or whatever. You go back to a neutral state where you are back turned. So that's a bit of a unique usage to that one, but it's there. Spinning Lotus Kick is also still in here because it used to end with the same extension. A 3 kick for a low and a 4 kick into a mid. They got rid of that now. So Spinning Lotus Kick by itself is only this, and he goes back turned. He used to do this kick and then take a step towards you and deliver the final hit. They took that away from the neutral version of it, but they added it in, or they left it intact for the other rush combo. So this is a screw attack by itself, just forward neutral 3 into back turned. The remaining rush combo now is Wolf Strike. This one has several options into it that make it look simpler than it is right here. But you can see this ending right here, mid kick, low kick. That 3 is the 3 that I just showed you. That's the Spinning Lotus Kick. He does that big sweeping kick, which he backdashes, and then he moves in on you, where he can go either mid or low. But in this case, it's either 4 or down 4 to do the low. So those last 2 hits off of this and the last 2 hits off of this used to be this Razor Rush. They just took them away from the normal version of it, but left them at the end of the Wolf Strike combo. So the Wolf Strike combo itself, you're going to see a lot as just the first 2 hits. Forward neutral, 4-1. Because this lets you hold forward to go into Tiger. You're going to see that in combos. Once you still on guard. See it in combos like this. The Tiger 2-2 is a screw attack. So forward neutral, 4-1 is a good option into Tiger. 4-1-2 is just the second jab. There's nothing fancy there. But the options from there are where it gets interesting. It shows you in the move list 2-2. Right here. 2 more follow-up 2 strikes. But what those 2 strikes are actually this. The second and third hit of that. So the whole Wolf Strike looks like this. The mid one, and then the second one, and the third one out of the snake string. And they will have the same properties. You can go into dragon or snake from either one. Like that, by holding forward. Or dragon or panther, excuse me. The mid one goes into dragon, and if you follow up with the low, it's a little trickier in this case, because there's not 3 hits to lead them up to it. They may not realize that's what's coming till a little bit later. But if you hit him with that low, you can transition that into panther. So forward neutral, 4-1-2. Has the additional extensions from the Snake Stance 2, as well as the Spinning Lotus Kick. The old version of Spinning Lotus Kick, which kind of looks like this. And there's that mid kick. He hesitates and he steps back in with the mid kick. Or the low kick, like that. So those last 2 hits. That 3 and that 4. That used to be the Spinning Lotus Kick. They just took those away for whatever reason. Now Spinning Lotus Kick by itself is just a knockdown and back turned. But that's the original version of them, for those who remember. The end of the Wolf Strike, that's the old Spinning Lotus Kick, is right there. So that's pretty much it for rush combos. And the reason why I say that it ties the whole puzzle together is because some of these are accessible from your other stances. The Wolf Strike you can get from Dragon Stance 4. Yeah, it's Dragon 4, right? Yeah, just like that. Same options as it is in any other form. And the beating kick you get from Panther 4. Like that. So that's kind of wanted to save those for last. As I mentioned during the stance section, most stances either have like the 2 kicks. One's a low, the other's like a rush combo. So that's where a lot of these come from. Those rush combos are the last missing piece, so to speak, of everything else. So the Wolf Strike is all in all pretty good. Forward neutral 1-2, as well as the 1-2-1-2 sequence. Pretty good. Gets you access to all your stances, and if you get a counter hit, you'll heap on some damage first. The only trick is learning how to do the forward neutral, that little shimmy step. If you just tap forward and let it go, he has to take that step first before you begin your attack. If you do it too quickly, you're just going to get a standing kick. You have to let him take that little bit of a step, and you'll learn the timing quicker eventually. Then you'll learn to memorize what stance gets you where and what you do from that point. So that pretty much summarizes Lei's whole moveset. A bunch of normals with various stance transitions. The 5-gate form, which is the basis of all his stances. The other stances like Drunken Master, Phoenix Illusion. The variations of grounded states. He has the 4 normal laying on the ground, as well as 4 that are unique to him. And these unique little rush combos, which kind of no one else has. So that's the bulk of Lei. The only thing remaining to talk about is specific stance transitions. Alright, so the final element is all of Lei's stance transitions and how you flow from one to the other and what you do when you get there. So let's just go over, as a group, the ways to get into the various stances. I mentioned throughout the move list, this takes you to Dragon, this takes you to Crane, or whatever. Let's kind of look at this from the other direction. Let's go everything that takes you into Snake, or everything takes you into Panther. So Snake is actually one of the weirder ones to get into, because you can get into it neutral, like that, or like that, right away. You don't need to do a move to take you into Snake, but they are there. 1-1, the first move on the list. 1-1, you hold forward, there's your Snake. You can get it from down 4 by holding down. You get it that way. And I mentioned this is way better than doing the down 4-4. Down 4-4 kind of sucks. It's launch punishable. Gets you to Drunken Master if they have a short range launcher. But down 4 and holding down gets you to Snake. I think that's a lot better. Down back 4, holding down also gets you to Snake and the knockdown that way. So as far as I can recall, those are pretty much the only ways to get to Snake through an existing move, not in another stance as it is. Once you're in Snake, some of the options take you back into it. The 1-1-1-1-1-1 takes you back into Snake, as well as the 4s leave you into Snake where you just were. So Snake transitions, not a lot of them. The jab strings, and then the 2 low kicks. Transitions into Dragon. There is back 2 by holding forward. There is sidestep 1 by holding up or down. Either way, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter which way you sidestep. Doesn't matter which way you hold up or down. You get to Dragon stance that way. As well as the Snake 2-2 sequence. If you're already in Snake, both of the first 2 hits of that by holding forward will also take you into Dragon. I think that's all I can think of for all of that. Panther is also kind of on the rare side. There's not a lot that takes you into Panther at all. It used to be almost none until they did this one. Forward 1+2 used to take you into Crane. Now it takes you into Panther by just holding forward. That gets you into Panther that way. As well as the Panther 3 continuing to cycle you back into Panther. And the other way to get there is through the rest of the Snake string. The third hit, 2-2-2, takes you to Panther. First 2 to Dragon, third hit to Panther. But that's the risky one. You got to be careful with that one. I can't think of any other ways to go directly into Panther. Nothing really comes to my mind out of that. It's kind of the one that you only get to via the lows. So let's move on to, what's next? Tiger. Let's do Tiger. You can get into Tiger via sidestep 1, holding forward instead, like that. Down forward 1+2 and hold forward. This is one of the good ones because there's almost no delay in the transition. He's right there. Tiger stance. Boom. And you can also get to it from Dragon options. You can do Dragon 2 and hold forward. And you can do Dragon forward 1+2 and hold forward that way. All of those will take you into Tiger. And now getting into Crane. The quickest way to get to Crane used to be this. And now that's gone now. So the only normal remaining way is up forward 3, that hop kick. And if that gets blocked, you're going to get murderized for it. So you do sort of have to be careful to go to Crane that way. It's not that desirable to get to the Crane stance that you need to just throw this out and hope for it to hit. But that is one way to do it. If you're fishing for that counter hit and you do kind of catch it, that's a nice rewarding way to get to it. The other main way would be up back 4. You do up back 4 and you hold forward. Like that, to go into the Crane stance that way. Those are most of your normal ways to get into it. Your stances can get you into Crane by doing the, was it 3 kick out of Dragon? Yeah, that little sweeping low kick and hold forward, you can go into Crane that way. And if you're in Crane, you can stay in Crane by doing sequences of up, forward, 4. That's the only way to stay into that stance. But that is also it, I believe, for Crane. They took away the other one that I used to know. Oh, yeah, you can cancel this. Forward, forward, 4, 3 plus 4. If you do the second hit and then keep holding 4, you'll cancel and end up in the crane that way. So I think that's about it for ways to get into the 5 gates form via other moves, as well as to each other. Crane is the end of it. Tiger's the end that you really want to. Crane's not a big deal. Focus on Tiger. Dragon has the most options to move you between stances. It can get you to either one of them, as well as the Wolf Strike combo, which lets you go back to Dragon if you wanted to from there. So that's the kind of stuff that you really have to just sort of experiment with and hope you can start memorizing it. If you can start your offense off with, say, like a back 2 going to Dragon, do the Wolf Strike, go into Dragon that way, go into Tiger, you know, okay, now I'm in Tiger, so what do I want to do? Let's go for the low launcher this time, you know, let's go for the mid launcher. It'll take a long time for you to get used to the flow chart as it is of how to use all of these things. Some ways to get into the other side stances, which are mainly just Drunken Master and Phoenix Illusion. Drunken Master actually has kind of a lot. You can do 2-1 and hold forward. You can do sidestep 2-2. Either hit. You can hold forward after either hit of that one. You'll get into Drunken Master. Anything where you're on the ground, if you press 1+2, he'll stand up into it. You can do down back 4 and hold forward to get into it that way. There's plenty of those options out there to get to Drunken Master. So you're going to find yourself in it a lot. It's just one of those stances that you don't have like a good setup for. You kind of have to just be a little unorthodox and take advantage of what you have. Phoenix Illusion, you primarily enter by the backflip kick. Only this time you hold back instead of forward. Damn it, stop, turn around. Turn around! That way. Up back 4 and hold back to go into Phoenix, or 3 and hold back. Those are your primary ways to get into that stance. The only other way would be the ballroom dance. Full crouch, down forward, 2-1-4. Automatically leaves you into Phoenix Illusion that way. So that's it for those other stances. The rest would be how to go into grounded states. And there's a ton of those. Just a ton. Things like 4-4, 3-3. All those leave you in various grounded states. Holding down after this leaves you into that. You can do clean sweep, 4-3. Keep doing it and keep returning to sidewind like this. There are lots of ways, the things that end up on the ground. Even from back turned. You can do this, fall to the ground that way. 1+2-2. Lots of those things. Falling tree leaves you in play dead, feet away. All that stuff. That's pretty much most of them that I could think of. I think you can do... Can you do Drunken Master and fall down from that one? No, you can't. You can only do it out of the Phoenix version of it. Phoenix lets you fall down that way if you do the one attack. The one the movie took away used to be able to do it from that. You can fall down into sidewind that way off of it. So, mastery of those is what's the most important key to Lei. You have to know what move is going to take you where and what you want to do when you get there. So some things to remember are what go-to move takes you in the stance that you want. Well, first of all, I guess you determine what stance you want. Do I want to play out of Snake a lot, which is just kind of like a pokier hit and run? You know, if I'm in Snake, I can just hit him with some of these and go back into Snake and fake it up. Do you want to base your offense out of Snake, or do you want to get toward Tiger as often as you can and use the hard mix-up that way, the low launcher or the mid launcher? So I guess that really depends on reading out your opponent. If they're going to be super aggressive, you might want to just kind of like stick to some Snake stuff. Pop, 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 sidestep them. You know what I mean? Go for your transitions to abuse their aggressiveness. Use the auto parry by pressing forward out of Tiger, the punch parry that it has. You know, use stuff like that against them. So have the game plan in mind. You know, I want to go for hard mix-up against this guy. How do I get to Tiger? So you might want to just, you know, kind of play your neutral game and start doing a lot of sidestep ones. If they start getting keen to that, you do your sidestep one and just go Dragon instead and do that throw. You know, stuff like that. So the hardest part to me, honestly, I can remember those, the 5-form gates, the 5-gate form transitions. It's the down on the ground stuff that really confuses me, because there's basically 8 of those. When I do a move, like I know this is going to leave me on the ground. It takes me a minute to think about what grounded position am I going to be. So that's why I mentioned think about it in terms of patterns. Whenever you're on the ground, your 3 is always going to be a low like that. It could be a slightly different kind of low. You know, this is one low. Play Dead's is a different low, but they still kind of work the same way. You know what I mean? Or if you're in Drunken, you do this. Recognizing that is sidewind, feet towards. That's the clean sweep one. You can do this. I recognize that just out of years of experience, you know, starting to Tekken 3. Realize I can just do this over and over again, and they get keen to the mid. I'll just, you know, hit him with the low instead. So I recognize those, but as by and large, like the rest of them, like this one, it takes me a minute to realize what stance I'm going to get up in. Okay, so that is play dead, feet away, and I have this. So you really have to practice and learn those, the sequence, what moves leave you into what grounded position, and what you can do to there. And again, the patterns help. 3 is usually a weird spinning low like this. 3 plus 4 is usually a double hit mid kick like that. Whereas play dead's 3 plus 4 is sitting snake instead. But they're similar in those regards. Most 4s are just a basic get up 4 kick. So you got to learn those, and you got to just be familiar. They have to be muscle memory. You got to know what you want to do when you get there. It's okay if it takes you a second to realize, okay, this leaves me in sidewind. As long as in your brain, sidewind, boom, 4 does this, 3 does this right away. That'll be just fine. So you got to kind of learn your sequences of what your stance transitions are, what you want to get to, and what you might get to accidentally. Like if you weren't paying attention, you were just, you know, doing jabs and holding forward, like, oh shit, I'm in snake. Don't panic. You need to know what snake does and how to, like, just do this low to catch a breather real quick. Okay, now I'll go for dragon. Now I'll go for tiger, you know? I'll go for the mid launcher, etc. Whatever it might be. So it's really about familiarity as well as kind of just learning the ropes, trial and error, which stances work and which ones don't. And as well as which stances you're comfortable with, the ones you like getting into. Because if you like hitting people with that crane low, you're going to find more creative ways to get into it. So it's about being comfortable, and it's about having the memory. So I think that sums it up. The transitions are kind of, you know, the synapses that tie all the memories together, basically. You have all these moves, but you need to be able to move between all of them and relate the moves together. And that's how all these stance transitions kind of make the character into fully flowing, do whatever you want to do, keep the options varied, keep flipping around the ground, much like Ling or Eddie. Which is, bringing back to the beginning, why I said their frame data is not all that important. You're not going to be standing there blocking. You're not going to be poking with pressure and frame advantage. You're going to be doing some wild shit just to keep them on their toes. You know, the whole goal is to just do the craziest stuff that you can imagine and keep them guessing. So that's about it. Like I said, in the description, I'll have either notes or a Google Doc, maybe both, of written versions of these, so you can look at it and see the patterns. You can look at it and see, oh, this goes to snake, this goes to crane, and help to learn that way. Okay, so with that, let's take a look at all of Lei's launchers and combos. And this man has 100 of each. It's not even just the stances. He's got so many launchers from so many different angles coming at you. It's a ton. He's very, very dangerous. And the combos are really strong and just really fun to do. So first, let me go down the list of basic, straightforward launchers. You know, in the air, simple juggle. Down forward 2 and up forward 4 are both 15 frames. Forward 3 is 16 frames with huge range. Note that this is also your running 3 now. Sidestep 4 launches, while standing 3 plus 4. Simple launch there too. Counter hit on back turn 4-3. Get the launch there. Dragon stance 1 plus 2 is a crumple stun. Still get the same thing from it though. And say a counter hit from Tiger stance 1. Those are the basics. There's probably more than that I haven't thought about, counter hits, etc. But for the most part, those are your straightforward launchers. So let's just go over simple combo paths you have from there. There's several easy ones and there's several complicated ones. Let's start with the simplest basic combo, which would be something like this. You do up forward 3. After you launch, you do up forward 3, which takes you to crane, and then crane 2 is your screw attack. And forward 3-4 is the basic way to end a combo. That's going to work for almost everything. And in some longer combos, you still have running 3-4 to get the same result. So that's one of the easiest ways to do it. There's several variations of it. If you remember, his old combo in Tag 2 used to look like this. Or one of them. right? That was the bound move. Now you do the same thing, it's just you do 4-1 instead of 4-4. Same thing, exact same combo. And if you also remember, you can stick a little more damage in front of it like this. Too short. But that still works the same way, the extra string in front. This is probably your max damage with a small ender option. I dropped it anyway. Anyway, that works. Get all that damage front loaded and just have your running ender. You're going to get, what, 6 hits? Your screw attack and 6 hits. It's probably the most you're going to get that I could really think of. You could do other variations off of back turn, say this. Used to do that in Tag 2. The back turn hop kick used to be a lot of damage. That would still work. But I think by and large, that's probably the best you're going to get. Forward 3-1, 1 plus 2-1, back turned 4-1. And then your screw attack from there. Some of your other choices, you can cut out either one of those. You could just do forward 3-1, a jab, and then that. Forward 2 works. You could just do a simple back turn part like that by itself. Or you can do, I mentioned, the crane part. Up forward 3, crane 2, that works. Or you can use the wolf strike. This is one that was kind of unnecessarily difficult, but it's still there. You do forward neutral, 4-1 into tiger. And then tiger 2-2. You can still do that. It's not a ton of damage anyway, and you really can't pad that anymore. It's just there as an option. Well, I don't know. I mean, you could try to stick extra jabs here and there, but by and large, you're just costing yourself if you pad combos with jabs. I think the old B&B from last time around is the best. Like that. You just got to time the distance to run up to it. Some of your other less conventional launchers would be things like up forward 3 plus 4. You get that, but you're forced into back turned. Same with this, the up 1 plus 2. If you do the 4 afterwards, you're stuck in back turned. Your only real choice there is to just go right for your screw attack. Just do 4-1. Wow. Like that. Oops, 4-4. That's the old combo. And you can do stuff like that to end it. There's lots of choices at that point. If you're going to do an early screw attack, you definitely have lots of choices. So let's look at different enders now. Most of these combos, the long combos, you're going to end with that forward 3-4 or the running version. So let's look at something if you do it sooner, like this. How does that go? If you do the screw attack and say like 2 hits, down forward 2, up forward 3, crane. Wow, I can't get it right. Shut up, phone. Like that. You can catch that if you time it just right. Forward 3, crane 2, forward 3-1, forward 3-4. You can do that. So that's 4 hits post screw attack. That's probably the best you can get. Notice I'm basing most of these around this string. This forward 3-1 string is a pretty good amount of damage. So if you screw attack early, you could still do that, and then the ender. But if you use this in the beginning, you're just going to be left with this as your ender by itself. That's pretty much the gist of all of it. So take a look at this combo again. Like that. Just a little distance. You have to get used to that. It's a new game, right? But yeah, those two, up forward 3 plus 4, and the empty jump into the low. Those, you're pretty much going to be going right for that since you're back turned. There's no reason to do anything that differently, I don't think. Some other different combos would be the counter hit on up forward 3, because that leaves you in crane stance. You really can't just do whatever you want there. But as you saw we did earlier, you could still do the same thing. Another up forward 3, or an up forward 4, and then crane 2. Same as when you're already in the crane stance, for example. If you just catch that, you could do the same things there. The only difference there is you're forced into crane stance, so you have a screw attack now from crane, which kind of bails you out in that case. And then at that point, since you're screw attacking early, you can do this version of it to end it. Some of your 2 low pickup combos are from Tiger 4. You can still do the old ballroom dance like this. This tiger low leaves you recovered and crouching. You do full crouch, down forward, 2-1-4. That's called the ballroom dance, and it leaves you in Phoenix Illusion. 2-1-4. Phoenix Illusion 2 is a screw attack. So one more time. Tiger 4, full crouch, down forward, 2-1-4. Phoenix 2 and your screw attack. This also works off Drunken Master's headbutt. Like that. I just kind of like hold down forward after I land. And as soon as I see myself get up, you just start pressing your 2. 2-1-4, and then Phoenix 2. So those two are combos you kind of have to pick up. There's other ways to do it, but I've actually found those to be pretty simple. You know, there's no real reason to do anything other than that. I'm used to it from Tag 2. You can do that if you want to. Use forward 3 to crouch cancel and pick them up. It's up to you. I'm just trying to show you most of the tools that you have in your combos and how you'd use them. Those tools are forward 3-1, forward 3, as well as forward 3 back turn. Like that. The 1+2-1 stuff. And the crane options. The crane options are actually pretty good, since you have crane 2 now as a screw attack. That works pretty well. Some other interesting combos. How about Play Dead? Play Dead 3, you can combo like that with the new back 2-4. I guess I didn't show you that, huh? How about this? That's pretty easy. Forward 3-1, back 2-4. Forward 3-1, back 2-4. Super easy. So you can use that off of Play Dead 3. You recover just in time to catch them with that. So that's most of your conventional launchers. You have a couple that'll leave you back turn, or like leave the opponent backwards, I mean. Like that. Those are going to be iffy. I'm not sure how I want to proceed with that. Because this is a low, is a mid-high, that misses a lot of those situations. Your backwards launchers would be the third hit of forward 3-1-2, or Drunken Master 4. That's going to be the same thing like that, backwards. And counter hit off of Dragon 2. That one's just upside down. So those leave the opponent back turn. They're going to be a little iffier to juggle with. I'm not sure how I'd want to do it yet. Make him stop blocking for one. I'm going to have to keep trying it. Oops. Yeah, I guess that works. Just throw a jab in there to stabilize it. Jab in a back 2-4. See, there you go. You can figure it out. You have a litany of screw attacks, which I'll list in the notes in the descriptions. Just a whole list of screw attacks. And yes, I know that's the third time I used the word litany. Deal with it. Some of your other combos come from automatic screw attacks. Tiger 2-2 causes a screw attack right away. So you're left with fewer options, but you can still do the same kind of stuff. You saw the list of things to work with. You do a forward 3-1, and then that. That works too. Plenty of things to pick from. Automatic screw attacks include Tiger 2-2, counter hit off of Crane 2. Damn it. Why can't these buttons hit together today? Jesus, it's killing me. There. Counter hit on the Crane 2 causes the automatic screw attack. And counter hit on back turn 4-1. That causes the same thing. So that's about it. Those are most of your launchers that I'm aware of so far. There's weird things like Snake 3. I'm not sure how to deal with that because it leaves you in sidewinds. That one I still didn't figure out. I guess you could stand up and do shit. I'm not sure. That one I didn't figure out yet. So there's bound to be dozens more launchers, but I haven't worked out what you get. Weird counter hit situations that you can pick up. I just don't know them yet. So that's it for the most part. And again, these will be a list in the description. The list of the launchers, the basic combo paths, and some possible enders. And most of those enders are going to be either this guy, forward 3-1 into this guy, or using forward 3 back. Let me show you some of these real quick. Forward 3 back turned. Then once you're back turned, you can do 1+2-2 and into that tiger fall, or you can do. Damn it. You can do the old bound move for the flip over spike. Forward 3 and hold back, And you get your back turned options like this. So that's about it. Those are pretty much all that you're going to see. Please feel free to leave comments if there's anything else you think of, a better damage combo or good Oki situations or whatever it might be. Yeah, leave them in the comments and I'll add notes to the list when I see them. So let's move on to the wall bounce and possible wall combos and floor breaks and stuff like that. So as far as Lei's wall combos go, I can't think of anything better than the old solo combo from Tag 2, which looks like this. Forward 3-1, up back 4. That's the best damage I could find. Even some of the other stuff he used to do, like this, not as much damage. You do down forward 1-1-1, not as much damage. I think the options out of this are the best. Forward 3-1, oops. Forward 3-1, then up back 4. Because that also gives you Crane to attack with that low again, and it also gives you Phoenix Illusion, where you have, you know, other options too. So I think that's the best damage I can find, and it also gives you 2 stance mix-ups at the end of it. As far as pure damage, I can't think of anything else. He doesn't have like a quick shoulder. You know, most characters have like a 1-2 shoulder. He doesn't have anything like that. This isn't fast enough. This isn't fast enough. That's not fast enough. I don't think. No. So I can't really find any way to exploit that grounded damage. The first thing that comes to mind would be this, but it's not going to work when you're this close to a wall. Actually, that's not bad either. That's what that used to be your tag assault combo. 3 cancel and then 3-3. 3-3 is not bad damage either, and you get back turned. Add that to the list. Forward 3-1, up back 4 results in a Crane or a Phoenix mix-up, or the back turn mix-up off of that. That's actually fairly decent. So the other options you would look for would be the head first knockdown, which you can get by back turn 4-4. Oops. You can do that. Oh, that's weird. That usually works. Huh. I've done it before. Maybe you have to let them float? Maybe that only works when they start to fall away from the wall. Like that. That's interesting. Time it that way and you get the head first knockdown. That's one way to do it. If you want like the floor break, which that would do, you could just do this thing. That'll work as well. A single down 2. That works. So there's not anything like crazy that I could find in this. Rush combos are no good. Beating kick won't work. I can't really find anything else that suits the need better than this does. Wall bounce combos. The only one that he has would be Tiger 1+2. As far as the wall carry goes, I can't see anything beating that. That seems like pretty optimal. Whoops. Wall default. This is pushing him a little bit closer here. Right about there. Still not close enough. I really wish they would have changed wall bounce to one of your like reset positions. There, try this. I fucked it up again. That's even a little bit shy. I can't see anything else. Maybe forward 4 could work. Forward 3-1-2 is really high damage. That's good for almost everything. That was my next bet. Let's try that. He has to be standing right about on this stripe here. That might be a good option if you're just the right distance. You could probably do a single forward 3 would work, and then this would work for your wall bounce carry. Like that. That's the best I can envision seeing. You might think of some other stuff. You know, be able to do like the back turn spinny stuff and carry them the whole way. Creative stuff like that. But as far as damage goes, this one's probably pretty good. This one would be good because you get a back turn there if you want to do that. And possibly this. That will give you a screw attack if you came up short somehow. That would still get them to the wall no matter what. That's a good option there too. This is also what you would want to do off the balcony break. Can I reset that? Yeah. Let's say you do... I already used the screw attack, never mind. I broke the wall with the screw attack. Let's, that's a pretty high damage move, and you're not going to be able to use it as a screw attack in most combos. It's just too slow. But a balcony break is a good situation. Holy crap. Try that. Like that. That'd be the one you want to use. So that'll work for your balcony break at the ground. And is also probably a pretty good choice for your wall break. Or your wall bounce, I mean. Like so. So write those ones down. Forward 3, 1, 2 is a good choice. Forward, forward for 3+4 is another good choice for the wall bounce carry. And as far as breaking the floor, back turn 4-4 is a good choice. Down 2 is a good choice. That's about it. I can't find a better like flip over knockdown at the wall than back turn 4-4. So the final thing to talk about is range. Is it down forward? I don't even know what it is. Yeah, down forward 3+4. So his rage art is down forward 3+4. Airborne is going to avoid all lows like Devil Jin does. But that little damage is a risk. That'll take care of it. Same 55 damage, nothing else there. The interesting thing is in all of these guys. All laser rage drives take place during his stances. Not outside of it. We saw all of these in the introduction videos. So let's just go over them now. The snake one, they're all done by 1+4. Snake one is that, which gives you the really far knockback like a Death Fist does. So you have plenty of time to run up and combo after that. You get a wall from almost anywhere in the world with that one. Whoops. Dragon. Same thing. Mid attack. Gonna get you the wall bounce or the wall splat like no matter where you are. Move on to Panther. This one is a launcher. Causes an automatic screw attack. It's a low-high launcher. I'm going to assume it jails, like most rage drives do. It's pretty quick. That's even faster than normal Panther Scratch. Low-high causes an automatic screw attack. So that turns into a launcher. So imagine, you know, some of your transitions just being like this. Low, you know what I mean? A simple pushback move like this, low launcher. So that's a pretty dangerous one to have. It's just Panther's one of the harder stances to get into from a lot of things. You know, if you have the balls to go for this the whole way with that low, I mean, they know another low is coming. So that's going to be a creative one. Or you just, you know, you find a way to get into Panther and then boom. You know, use your razor rushes, use whatever you have. Tigers is a counter hit launcher version of that thing. It looks just like the palm, only it bounces them really high. You're going to get a combo off of that. And the cranes is the same as a launcher. Only it's a super high launcher and it's backwards. So they're almost all combo starters. As far as combo extenders, that seems like that's a tough one to figure out. Let's try something like this. Hard knockdown, right? A lot of the best rage drives are a combo starter and a combo extender. So that seems to be one. Oops. Down forward 2. Wow. Why can't I do this anymore? I don't even know what you go for there. Maybe a big falling tree? Nice. I like that. 20 more damage from a falling tree. I'm with it. So that has that option. What about, say, that doesn't work. That's just going to get you a wall splat. So I'd imagine once you get your screw attack, you could do that. Try something like this. Nope, too slow. That one doesn't seem to be much use of combos, just because there's no way to get to Dragon reliably in combos. Crane, I'm assuming there would be. So let's try... That's not going to work too well. You're not going to get a second launcher or anything. So the Snake and the Dragon are really long-distance wall splats. The Tiger's a launcher. The Crane is a launcher. Panther is a launcher. But Tiger's the one that extends a combo. And I think that's for the best, because that's really the only one you can get into via combo easily. I say easily, you know? Whatever it might be. So, he doesn't have anything outside of the stance. That's all that there are. The long-distance wall splat from these two. This is a low launcher that causes the automatic screw attack. So your combo's limited. This is a big-ass bounce, and this is a big-ass bounce. So you get full combos off of these two. And in the middle of a combo, this one causes that spike that you get guaranteed follow-ups. So, I think that's it. That's everything I could think of for Lei Wulong. It's only been like 6 or 7 hours. So I think that's everything to talk about, at least for now. And as I said earlier, you really have to become familiar. You have to know where you're going and know what to do when you get there with this character. So this is just kind of a rundown. Learn all the moves, learn their transitions, and then start to build some patterns, a repertoire, and some habits, you know. Not bad habits, but just things you like, things you steer yourself towards, and then know what to do when you get there. So all of these notes will be in the description. I'll put, you know, the combo starters, the list of move transitions, all that stuff will be down there below, as well as the timestamps for the sections. So I think that covers everything. Until Anna video rolls around, thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next time.